In the earliest days of Christianity, one of the hardest things to convince people like pagans and Gentiles was that they only had to worship one God. They did not need to worship idols anymore. Idols were various gods that they would worship, specific gods for specific wishes and certain things. The idea of one true God was quite foreign to them. And it was up to people like Paul the Apostle to help them to understand that we need only follow the one true God, that these idols are just mere superficial things. They're superstitions, whereas the one true God is who creates all, and there's only one need to pray to one God. And we look back at sometimes with the history of that, and we think, oh my gosh, all these people worshiping all of these different idols and so forth and so on. But we don't realize that we still struggle with that today. We still worship idols. We still idolize things. As the pagans did in the first century, worshiping specific things for specific desires, we still do that. We still, instead of following Christ in everything, we sometimes divert when it comes to things that we want and desire. I'm talking about like greed, money, power, things like that. We still go toward things that emulate that for us. We want to follow powerful people. We want to follow people that we might think might help us to feel better about ourselves, gain money and things like that. We follow things. We try to make our house and our the things we drive and our appearance look certain ways, and we follow websites and all of that kind of stuff to say this is what's in, this is what's out, this is what will make you look popular, this is what will make you look out of date, all of those kind of things. And we get hooked on these things and we follow them, we idolize them. We do the same even with politics. We put so much effort into following politicians that certain politicians have become almost the status of gods. We follow things that we want to find that feed certain things for us, when all along the things that we truly are desiring are superficial. When we follow Christ, when we follow the one true God, we learn more about what really matters. The God that said, love one another. The love that you show for one another will show that you are disciples of mine. So many of the things that we desire in the things that we idol are things that we hope will set us above people, or set people away from us, or separate, or win arguments, or give us permission to even hate other people. That has nothing to do with Christ. And that idolization is what actually takes us away from Christ. If we're following things that are all about power and feeding a desire of prejudiceness, hatred, or a desire of feeding a fear, we're not following Christ. We can idolize fear as well. We can idolize fear of and what if those people come in, and what if that person's this, and what if I welcome this person, what if I show love, will that happen? That fear is something that we can idolize as well. Again, Christ tells us to welcome the strangers, to be there for one another, to share the good news with all nations. That means everybody. Instead, if we're not doing that, if we're actually following people that tell us to separate ourselves, or that follow things that make us hate other people, that encourage us to think that we're better than other people, we're not following Christ. The same as if we are following anything that make us feel less about ourselves. Insecurity is also something that we can idolize. We can doubt the love that Christ has for us, and that we are lovable people. We can doubt that, and then insecurity can lead us more down the road to thinking other people are better or a threat, and therefore an enemy, when Christ teaches us to love even our enemy. Take a look at the things that you are truly following in this world. Are you feeding into the things that you see on social media that encourage you to hate somebody or to look a certain way or to conform or to be on guard against the what ifs in life? Or are you trying to follow Christ, the true Savior, that said, I died for you and I rose again for you. I've defeated death for you. And what you are required to follow me is just to love. Are we following that message? Are we following that, or are we idolizing other things? If it's not about God, if it's not about love, it's something different. Love God, love yourself, and love your neighbor.